Is that the prime counselor?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
this is the prime counselor.
There's
You
this
can go ahead.
argument, even on social media, about God, heaven, and hell being all man made stories
Okay.
to impose fear and dominance on humanity. I want to know, is it true?
Um, my dear, it's not true. That is the straightforward answer. It is never true. God, heaven, and hell are not man-made stories. They are not fictions. They are real. But let's take it this way. Let's suppose that God, heaven, hell, or even the Bible are all man-made stories, as they suppose, to create fear on people. Think of it this way. Imagine if there is no such imaginary God, if there is no such imaginary heaven, if there is no such imaginary hell that could curtail to great extent some vices of people. So many people will say, I will not do this because of God. So many people will say, I will not do this because of heaven, heaven's sake. Let's assume that there is no such imaginary story. There is no imaginary God, there is no imaginary heaven, there is no imaginary hell. What do you think the earth will look like now? As it is, so as bad as the earth has turned out to be, or rather, as bad and horrible as the system of man, because if we say the earth, nothing happens to the earth or nothing happened to the earth. The earth is good as created by God, but the system of man corrupted it, spoiled it. So, if such imaginary God, heaven and hell, and the Bible are not even in place, what do you think the world will be like? It would have been a total, you can't even imagine it. It would have been a total tribulation. It will be something that nobody will ever, it will be a horrible thing that you would not even imagine in your life. You can't even sit anywhere to talk. You can't even move around. So that tells you that even if it is a man-made story, that man-made story is still doing a great humanitarian work, so to say, because it is curbing a lot of people from entering into all manner of vices. They will say, if not for God, if not for heaven's sake, if not for Bible. So you could see, though it is not imaginary, but if we suppose that it is imaginary, it's doing much good than the harm you think. But let's think this other way. There is no painting that painted itself. Have you ever thought about that? No painting ever painted itself. No building ever built itself. Check around you. The things that man can make, the things that man can manufacture and produce, it would be very, very foolish to say that very house you are living in, to say no architect was behind it, no builder was behind it, nobody built it, it just sprang up. No, it's inconceivable. You can't say that. That vehicle you are riding in, that motorcycle you are riding on, it's very foolish to say that nobody is behind the mechanism. It's quite inconceivable to think about that, to have that line of thought. So I want to let you know that Even creatures affirm that there is a creator. I think you should go home with that. Think about that. Creations all over the world, creations all over everywhere you can find them, they all unanimously affirm that there is a creator, a big, big, giant creator, and that is God. And he has an abode, he has a living place, and that place is heaven. And also, he has a place where he will put people who are not living according to his laws. Because if ordinary government will put up a prison house where they put those who break the laws of the land, I don't think the government is wiser than God. And so God has a place where he put all those who break his laws. And that is called hell. I think I have answered your question. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, Prime Counselor.
All right. God bless you. All right. You could see that. If you go to social media today, you will see a lot of people coming up with all manner of arguments. There is no God. There is no Jesus. There's no hell. There's no heaven. They are all fabricated stories. Fabricated? Indeed. How could that fabricated story even go to the extent of trying to make people come out of many of their lifestyles that are not good even to humanity? If the world is corrupted as it is today, if the world is this terrible today, and there were no such fabricated stories of God, in quote, heaven, in quote, Bible, in quote, and hell, in quote, this place would have been a boiling oil. This place would have been a boiling oil and a frying pan. But that tells you that there is someone who put up this place. Now, someone will say, if there is God, why all the trouble? If there is God, why all the suffering? If there is God, why all the chaos? My brother, you built a house and you put in tenants and you have your rules and regulations of how people should live in your house. And the tenants came in, turned the house upside down, live the way they want. Will anybody say that is your fault? Will anybody say, if there is a landlord, why all this trouble in this building? Why all this noise that is coming out from this building? Is it the landlord's fault? But the end point is, a day is coming when the landlord will say enough. A day is coming when the landlord will say, I'm going to quit all of you because this is not what I had in mind to build this house. All of you are going to go. And that day is fast approaching. The only way out is Jesus Christ. Surrender your life to him. Ask him to have mercy. Confess your sins to him. And I tell you, he will give you a brand new life. And you will know what the Spirit of God is all about doing in the lives of those who believe in him. God bless you once again. I am the Prime Counselor. See you again.